What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to go over the differences and the similarities between the Canon 24-70mm f2.8 and the Canon 24-70 f4 lens. Alright, you guys, thanks for tuning in, and today again we're going to be comparing these two lenses between the 24-70 f4 and the 24-70 f2.8. So let's go ahead and talk about what we got going on with this shot. I am going to be doing everything close to a T as possible. So right now I'm shooting at 24 frames per second or 23.98 frames per second. My shutter speed is going to be at 1/50. My aperture or f-stop is going to be at 4 because I'm comparing it to the 24-70 f4. And my ISO is going to be at 800. All of those settings are just going to stay the same all throughout. I also have a key light to my left at about 30%, and that won't change as well. Right now you are getting an image capture from the 24-70 f2.8 Canon L series lens. In a moment we'll switch over to the f4 lens to compare it. But for now, just get a clean look at this. I'm currently at f2.8 right now, but when I switch to the Canon f4, I'll make sure that this lens is also at f4. My focal length for both lenses will also be at 40mm, just so everything is in frame the way it is right now, and again everything is the same as possible. 2.8 right now, just get a good quick glance at this, and let's continue on. Alright, you guys, so now we are on the 24-70 f4 Canon L series lens. So let's talk about some features about this lens. So this lens is cool because it is 24-70, which means that you get a nice wide shot all the way up to a pretty decent tight image. Let's talk about another thing about this lens. It has what's called a macro option. So all you have to do is switch the little switch on the side and dial past 70mm, and you get this really nice macro image. Now they say that it's not technically macro, but it's awesome because you can take this lens pretty close to your subject matter and you can get some pretty interesting tight shots, tighter than you would normally get with just 70. Another interesting fact about this lens is that the filter ring size is 77mm. So let's talk about the people that would buy this type of lens. This lens is great for someone that's on a budget, wants really good quality, but doesn't want to spend the extra money. This lens runs from about, let's say, $400 to $800, depending on where you're buying it from. It could be a little bit higher, but sits around that ballpark. This is for the type of person that wants to go out and take photos and videos and just wants to capture what's around. They want this lens because they are capable of having all those features packed into one, and you don't have to really carry around other lenses. This is for a person that's also looking to complete their trinity of lenses. So the trinity would be 16-35, 24-70, and 70-200. So if you're on your way, on your journey to completing that goal, this is a great lens to also add to your arsenal. Now let's talk about some cons of this lens. This lens is not going to be used by the professionals. You can use it if you're starting out professionally, but you would probably want to upgrade to a f2.8. And the reason why is because with an f4 aperture availability, you're only allowed so much blur in the background when you are stopped down to the lowest that you could possibly go on this lens. You're also going to notice that in low light situations you're going to have a lot more grain showing up in your image. That's because your aperture is not allowed to open up to anywhere from 2.8 or lower than that. Now for the people that are new and are trying to understand what aperture or f-stop is, it's basically, in basic terms, just how much blur that you can get in the background of your image, and also how much light that you are allowing into your full image. With f4, you are kind of limited, and you're gonna get that grain in your image regardless. Your image may not look as smooth as the 24-70 f2.8 Canon L series lens, or any of those lenses. That could be any other brand of lenses. but you are just going to get a lot more noise, a lot more grain in your image, and it may not be as sharp. So right now we're going to go ahead and switch over to the Canon 24-70 f2.8 lens. Alright you guys, we are on the f2.8 lens, but the f-stop or the aperture is set to f4, just like the f4 lens was. This is what the image quality looks like with the upgraded lens on the camera. So just take a second, get your bearings, take a look around, pixel peep if you want to. I'm not one of those people, but if you are, go ahead and do so. Right now we're just taking in what it looks like and seeing the difference in quality, if any. So let's talk about the features of this lens. So this lens is the Canon 24-70 f2.8 lens. You have the focal length of 24-70, which means wide to tight and anywhere in between. This lens has a filter ring size of 82mm versus 77mm on the f4 lens. And this lens is for more of the person that wants to go professional or wants a better image quality overall. They want a little bit more sharpness in their image. They are looking for less grain in their image, and they're looking to use this type of lens for more professional work, whether that be photography, videography, anything in between, like YouTube, Instagram, or anything like that. This lens is great because it definitely holds its value, because this is one of the sought after lenses out there in the industry. The price range for this lens can be anywhere from $850 and up. We're talking over $1,000, maybe close to $2,000. There's probably some out there that are peaking over $2,000 or more. The reason why it's so expensive is because it is the professional lens, the choiceful lens to have for professional work. And the reason why it's used for professional work is because there's less grain, there's less noise in the background of your image, and it goes down to f2.8. f2.8 is the selling point behind the lens overall, and because of that, it gives you all of those results. Less grain, noise, and if you're working for clients, your clients will love your images, whether that be videography or photography. It also looks pretty great on YouTube. Now let's talk about the cons of this lens. This lens does not have image stabilization. So this is version 2 of this Canon L series lens, and it doesn't have image stabilization, but the f4 does. Interesting. Canon, why did you do that? Another con is it doesn't have that macro mode like the f4 lens does. Canon, what are you doing? What happened? But what this lens does have, it has that f2.8, and that's what people really want when they are seeking out this lens. That nice availability to get that nice blurry background, that is the moneymaker. So we just talked about the f4 and f2.8. Let's go ahead right now and switch the aperture from f4 to f2.8. Let's go ahead and do that. And there you go. You can tell definitely that the brightness of the image got brighter. That is the selling point of this lens, is again the availability to go past f4 down to 2.8. You'll notice that the background of this image is a little bit more blurry. You get that nice bokeh in the background. I stand out from the background a lot more going down to f2.8, and the image is a lot brighter because you're opening up that aperture. So I am fortunate enough to own these two lenses as my personal lenses. Making this video, I hope this video has helped you out in deciding whether if you want to go f4 or f2.8 or get both. Hopefully this video gave you some insight on what these lenses can do. And if you want me to do more videos on these two lenses, please let me know down in the comment section and I can hook up another video for you guys. Hopefully this answered some of those questions that you were having. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you consider subscribing, that's awesome as well. I'm going to peace out for now. Thanks for watching. It's been real. Keep it real. You know what it is. Deuces.